In defense of the awkward moment, this was going to be one of the flashy opening thingies, but again, I just didn't have time. I really wanted to get back to doing the old credit sequence, the old intro credit sequences, and the music and stuff. But quite frankly, I got too caught up playing a video game to do that, so you get a simple video instead, which is kind of telling because the video game we're going to talk about today is Mass Effect Andromeda. We're going to talk about the single player and the multiplayer campaigns. And quite frankly, I'm not going to spend that much time on it. You can read super duper in-depth reviews online about the various aspects of the game. What I do want to touch on real quick are some of the big gripes that people have seen online and some of the things that are kind of keeping them on the fence about buying this game. Gripe number one, probably the biggest gripe, is the graphics of the game in general, as well as the character models, the facial structures, and the kind of uncanny valley-ish stuff that's going on. There have been lots of pictures online, and lots of people griping about how the graphics are just subpar, and the facial features in particular are awful. The fact of the matter is, after playing quite a bit of Mass Effect Andromeda, I can't deny any of this. The graphics just aren't next gen. There's nothing about this game that makes me go, ooh, I'm definitely playing this on an Xbox One. There's just not. The graphics don't feel next gen. Now, admittedly, I am a little bit spoiled because my barometer for what next gen graphics should look like is the PlayStation 4's The Order 8, I think it's 1889 is the title of the game. That's what next gen graphics look like. To me, anyway. And is this it? No. Is there any appreciable difference between this and the graphics that I'm seeing in Mass Effect 3? Yeah, a little bit, but not to justify the amount of time that's been between the two games, and certainly not. I mean, the character models in Mass 3, the facial animations were head and shoulders above what we're seeing here in Mass Effect Andromeda. I will say that the skin textures and the lip coloring are very, very good. If you leave your characters alone and don't go and customize them, the stock Scott and Sarah Riders have very good looking skin, very real looking skin, very real looking lips. And the game doesn't look bad, it just doesn't look next gen. All that having been said, in my personal, profound opinion, get over it. That is a small thing in comparison with the fact that this is another BioWare tour de force. It's another massive game with massive amounts of time and effort put into it, massive amounts of script writing. Let's talk about the single-player campaign for a little bit. The single-player campaign, admittedly, starts slower than either Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3. The first hour or so of your gameplay in this game is lacking in the single player campaign. After that, the thing takes off like a rocket ship, and the single player campaign is just insanely enjoyable. There are lots of strange, mysterious places to go, strange, mysterious questions that you get asked that you want to find the answers to. The single-player campaign is very difficult to put down once it picks up. You do have the problem that you're not running around with a lot of the same old faces that you're used to playing in 3 Mass Effect games. So having to make new friends in new places kind of takes a little bit of the edge of the game off. The character archetypes are not the most creative. There is a replacement for Garrus. There is a replacement for Grunt. There are clever parallel replacements for other characters in the game. Some of them are more fleshed out than others. But all in all, I just really don't. I have no idea what everybody's grumbling about. I have found the game hugely enjoyable. Hugely enjoyable so far. The single player campaign is just draws you in a great deal. My wife and I both are really enjoying the single player campaign. From a multiplayer standpoint, if you like multiplayer in Mass Effect 3 you're going to like multiplayer in Mass Effect Andromeda. They didn't really change multiplayer between these two games. They just took what was already there, what was already good, and added a few pieces of garnish on top of it. To be perfectly honest, I think make multiplayer just a little bit more enjoyable. New to both the single player and multiplayer games that definitely changes the way that the multiplayer game is played is the jetpack. It allows for a great deal more verticality in the multiplayer maps. It's a neat mechanic. I'm not sure whether or not I would say that it drastically improves multiplayer, but it's a neat mechanic. It does encourage a great deal more verticality in the gameplay. It does keep things a lot more exciting and a lot more moving around. There was a real tendency in Mass Effect 3's multiplayer to find good spots to hide in the levels and then just camp there and let the bad guys bottleneck into you. The AI in Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer is much better. Can't just sit and hide. The enemy will overwhelm you, so it is meant to be a more dynamically played game. Hugely enjoyable. Hugely enjoyable. Mass Effect 3's multiplayer was so addicting that my wife and I both got consoles so that we could both play at the same time. That's no exception with Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer is ridiculously addicting. Ridiculously addicting. As a matter of fact, that's what I was spending so much of tonight doing instead of making this review look all pretty and upright. There are lots of little nits that I could pick about the game. There are lots of little nits that I could pick about just about every game. Yeah, there are lots of things that I'd like to see better. BioWare has said that they're going to patch the game this Thursday to address a lot of the issues that people have been complaining about online. But the fact of the matter is, this is another huge deep single-player and multiplayer experience that BioWare has produced. And I don't know what all of the negative press is about. No, the game isn't perfect. No, the game isn't as compelling as Mass Effect 3. It's a brand new story. It's brand new characters in a brand new universe. And it still manages to be great if you can slog through the first hour or so of gameplay. It's just another good Mass Effect game. I don't regret the hardware that I bought to play it. My wife doesn't regret the hardware that she bought to play it. It's just a really, really good game. I don't know anybody that I run around with that played Mass Effect 3 that isn't thoroughly enjoying Mass Effect Andromeda. That goes for me. That goes for my wife. If you're on the fence about buying the game, I'm looking at you, Mr. Kelly. Get it. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. You'll enjoy yourself a great deal. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hopefully with credits and, pretty things. Yeah. Have a good night, people.